welcome to Monaco and the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT. Yes, we are back on the French Riviera once again under the umbrella of the European Poker Tour and back inside the most beautiful poker room in the world, the Salle des Etoiles. I am James Hartigan alongside Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
He is back, and also back in the booth, Mr. Lex Veldhuis.
What up?
Well, gentlemen, we have the final table of the 100K Super High Roller. 46 total entries in this event, including 16 re-entries. Now just 6 players remain, and the chip leader coming into this final table is Vogelsang. He's a German regular on the tour. He won the Super High Roller Bowl in Vegas a couple of years ago. Second in chips is Sam Greenwood, a Canadian pro who's had a few second place finishes in Super High Roller events. Fateh is the only amateur player in this final table. Ike Haxton, a regular on the tour, made the final table of the Super High Roller at the PCA at the start of this year. And rounding off this final 6 are 2 former Monte Carlo Super High Roller champions, Schemion and Justin Bonomo. And Justin has been on a tear so far in 2018. Well, here's what they're playing for: a total prize pool of nearly 4.5 million euros, with more than 1.5 million up top for the eventual champion. Vogelsang, wearing his scarf, is the chip leader coming into play with 120 bigs, a stack of 3 million. Widely regarded as one of the smartest brains in the game. His biggest result to date was at Aria in 2016 when he won the Super High Roller Bowl for $6 million.
I can't call him Christoph Vogeltank anymore.
Well, with the shot clock.
Oh, yes. Wow. All right, let's go.
There it is.
Good luck, Christoph.
I wouldn't want to bring that through airport security, by the way.
How does he still have all his time bank cards is what I'm wondering. Oh, wait, he got 2 new ones?
So here we go. Action is underway. 10,000, 25,000 with a 25,000 big blind ante. It's been folded around.
That's unfortunate.
And Bonomo has raised the button with Jack 10 of clubs on a Schemion. Pocket 8 in the big blind.
Cool, we got a hand already.
Yeah, immediately gonna get a flat call here. From Ole.
Now these are the 2 shortest stacks at the table, but they're still deep, more than 50 bigs apiece.
That's actually kind of driving me nuts, I think.
A lot has to happen for people to get 50 bigs in at this stage, but that's also a good thing because we're going to see really good players battle each other in pots where they don't have too many restrictions.
So Bonomo will be happy with this flop. A couple of backdoor straight draws and the flush draw.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Schemion won't be happy that it's ace high.
Like I'm not.
And it's one of those curious situations where pocket 8s are ahead for now, but Schemion's actually a statistical underdog.
I'm just happy that I get to be a part of this again and learn how to play poker again, because this is a situation that I think you find yourself in all the time as a regular player, and you're like, I don't know what to do here. I can't fold every single time. I also can't call every single time. What does one of the best players in the world do?
Yeah, I think it's really cool because you see the plan that people have, and I think there's a lot of people that look at this and think, oh, there's an ace high flop. Well, this time I'm going to bet it, and then other times I might not. But like, if players look at their hand specific situation and just follow the plan. I would imagine that Justin's going to bet again here. The king has a lot of, shows a lot of strength if somebody has a 9 or a 5. You don't really want to check because, would you ever check a strong hand? Probably not. And Jack high is just not going to win when it gets to the river.
Don't forget about building that pot for all those juicy outs you have, all those juicy river outs.
Pot size bet, I like it.
Bonomo wins the first hand of the day. Punching stuff says the shot clock looks like a doomsday device timer. As Joe was saying, you wouldn't want to take it through the airport. So Greenwood has opened with the ace-king. Ali Reza with ace-9 of clubs in the small. And that's a call. Schemion folds his big blind. And these 2 go heads up to the flop. It's hand number 7 of the final table of the 100K Super High Roller.
Specifically under the lights, it's really hard.
It's a Jack 5 deuce flop.
But probably nothing, I understand. Yeah.
Ace King High
Yeah,
still
If
good.
they could turn the air conditioning up, yeah, that would be great.
I'll allow it.
Roger, Roger.
I don't think wearing a second identical one on my arm is really that good.
They can't be bigger than this for the TV table, unfortunately.
All right. Yep, that's
Thank you,
fine.
I really appreciate it.
No worries. You mind throwing that out for me? Thanks. Oh, sorry.
Did you just bet? Oh, okay. I was gonna say, did you just bet 25,000? That'd be
Close
close
enough.
Yeah.
Still small.
People often forget that when you bet really strong ace highs, that there's a big chance you're gonna get called by some weaker ones.
Actually get the AC.
Very smart to use a smaller bet for that purpose as well.
Pretty warm in the whole room, so they might be able to turn
Did he
up
check
the whole
raise?
room.
He did.
Oh my god, I love it.
That would be
Lex
perfect.
is a fan of this raise to 135k.
What can you really rep on this board? Check raising.
I think against the small bet that Sam used, I think that you could check raise a 5, a jack, that sort of thing. A 5 kind of using as a semi-bluff / protection of what you have, and then a jack for value. You know, it's not bad to just like kind of fake giving up on the turn, checking some of that. So it's not like you become too predictable on, you know, later moments in the hand.
Jack of clubs pairs the board.
It's so annoying when you check raise.
Yeah.
You're like, well, there goes my repping a jack.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Really interesting. Oh, I like it.
Oh, he's not done.
Okay.
If there's one thing we know about Ali Reza Fateh, he is fearless. And he will keep firing into a pot of 440,000.
He does get it done.
He bets 165k and Greenwood folds the best hand.
I love that. That was a really good move.
Well, in January 2019, we're going to be back in the Bahamas for the PCA, and that festival is going to kick off with something very special indeed. The first ever PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship. Going to be a huge 25k event, like to be the biggest one ever held. Now, there's $1 million added to first place, plus there's an extra $8 million in the prize pool, which is going to come from these platinum passes. These are packages giving qualifiers free entry to the event, plus expenses and accommodation. More than 300 of them being given away in live events and online over the course of the year. Details on how you can get your hands on a platinum pass can be found at PokerStarsLive.com.
You guys gonna handle this for a second? I got 3 spin and goes to play. I'm not joking. You guys, you have no idea how badly I want to win a platinum pass and quit on the air in a rage. Just a monster blow up. I am gonna completely. I'm just gonna. Every negative thought I've ever had about every person in this room is gonna come out the second I win that platinum pass.
And just to clarify, for the benefit of Mr. Jamie Funds, when we talk about those territories being excluded, those are places where PokerStars does offer real money poker, but this promotion is not valid. Obviously, if your country does not have real money poker, it stands to reason that this particular promotion is also not valid.
It's such a funny list. It's like Greece, Czech Republic, Spain, Portugal, New Jersey. New Jersey should be its own country.
I like the bigger raise size that Christoph picks here.
Yeah, jacks. Who wants a call with those, right?
Yeah, I always lose with jacks.
I wonder if Christoph has played a game today where he's just like, you know, I'm going to play like the average bloke does. So he just calls with the 6-5 and the small blind, makes a huge raise with jacks.
Yeah, too rich. Especially against Ike, you're going to have to make it at least slightly big, because Ike's just going to call from his big blind a lot. Correctly so.
What a dream flop for 2 jacks, huh? What a dream.
That is pretty good. It's also a board that, you know, a lot of the hands that the big blind calls with will continue on. There's some straight draws. He's going to call with any 10-9-4. Some ace highs, a lot of king highs as well, because they'll have gut shots, that sort of thing. So.
And 7-6.
And 7-6, definitely going to call, I think, from Ike. Yeah, you can't go about folding gut shots. Oh. Interesting.
Hello, nurse. 4, 5, 6, 7. So close.
Yeah.
If they're playing Canadian stud, a 4-card straight would beat a pair.
Canadian stud. Is Griffin Benger here?
Oh, you see, this is why I like the sizing. It's so big, and it really puts a lot of pressure on these type of hands that Ike has. Somebody's eating plastic.
Plastic is delicious.
Plastic.
Hey,
Oh.
look at that. It's an action clock, and it's
Yeah.
almost at 0. Ike's calling. Oh,
No.
no, he's not.
shoving. Oh my god, what a... Oh, this is so sick.
So Ike has moved all in for 1.56 million. A semi-bluff from Haxton. And Vogelsang now with a decision with the overpair.
This is just the kind of stuff that you don't see normally. This is when everybody's like, do you think he's going to call or going to fold? And then a world-class player will think of option 3. I could also do this.
You mean Ike?
Yeah. I think this is going to be
Because
very
Christoph
tough.
does not have a third option.
No.
Okay.
I think that Christoph is going to end up calling because there's like straight draws and flush draws, and he has a much better hand than people expect him to have in this scenario.
When this gets done to you, are you regretting your strategy of betting so big?
No, it kind of supports all the other situations. This is just like Ike is just sick enough to do this. He does call. First all-in showdown.
And Ike is 21%
Wow.
to stay alive.
And this could see Vogelsang become an even more dominant chip leader than he was already. Ike Haxton's turning life on the line, needing an 8 or a 3 on the river to survive. Eight cards Ike can hit that will save him. You feeling it, Lex?
No.
Nice hesitation, Mr. Veldhouse, as we see Ike Haxton eliminated in 6th place, cashing for 313,000 euros. That is, by my calculations, a profit for Ike of 13,000 euros.
Still 2 days' work.
In for 3 bullets, of course, bought into this event for 300k. But at least he made the money, and we are down to 5, and Christoph Vogelsang now has close to 5 million chips, 163 bigs at the 1530 level.
Ike Haxton, a.k.a. I Caxton, which is the disease you get if you stare at that shirt too long.
Well, this is interesting. Top pair for both players. Bonomo's king kicker obviously puts him ahead.
These are the kind of things and the situations where you really wonder how Fateh is going to do this. Is he going to slow play like weak top pairs? Is he going to bet them? It's very deciding for the rest of the day.
He doesn't slow play much.
Okay.
Now, granted, we haven't seen him, you know, flop the absolute stone cold one, so who knows, maybe if he hit something that hard, he would slow play it.
That's true. Big sigh.
I want to see him make it rain time bank cards. Have some of this.
I got 2 minutes.
So the C-bet was 85k. Bonomo's check raise 250k. A lot of people in the chat admiring Ali Reza's watch as he folds.
That is a pretty incredible fold.
And a pretty incredible watch.
That's a crazy fold. Impressive.
Total prize pool in this event, 4.4 million euros. Ike Haxton already cashed out for 313,000. 6 players getting paid in this event. Up top, 1.5 million euros plus the Super High Roller Champions Trophy. Navigator 7575, very happy to have you here, Lex. Great to hear you back on air.
Oh, yeah.
What'd you do for Rage Friday yesterday? What is it you call it?
Blow Up Friday?
Blow Up Friday. Did you do anything special for Blow Up Friday yesterday?
No, I was here already.
I'd have blown it up with you.
No, I haven't done Blow Up Friday in a while. Definitely gonna make it a return though. I wanted to get a little bit more healthy. Drinking from 10 a.m. in the morning till 4 a.m. the next. Didn't really help with that, but
I see.
it's
Well
time
done.
for yeah, I know. It's time for a Blow Up Friday again.
Too hungover to get blown up.
Ooh. Now, I am very curious to see what Greenwood, what Vogelsang is going to do here, because this is exactly the type of scenario where he can put a ton of pressure, because Greenwood can lose it, lose a lot here, because there is a guy that's significantly shorter. He's going to go for the check call.
150,000 apiece. And the flop is King 9-5.
Boring.
Well, from Vogelsang's perspective, it's a pretty horrible flop.
Yeah, it's a good flop for Greenwood. Could definitely take a little stab at it with a bluff.
Hello to Punisher 437, who says, "Let's go," watching from New Zealand. Greenwood bets 80,000.
Really interesting to see. It's just really interesting to see really good players in very marginal situations. Like, which way is he gonna go? How sticky is he gonna be? Is he gonna check raise? You know, there's all these things that are a little outside the norm. Is exactly what makes them great.
And we get to see both players doing. I mean, they're both
Yeah.
great players, and they're both in marginal situations. I guess Vogelsang's is more marginal than Sam's, but
Yeah.
there we go. That's pretty marginal for both people.
Yeah. I mean, all their cards are below the boards. You know. I mean, this is again a perfect spot for Greenwood to bet again. He just pick up a straight draw. He pretty much goes from close to 0% to winning close to 1 out of 5 times. And he could just make him fold, of course. So. $400. Well played. Well played.
Sam Greenwood currently third in chips. He has 2 million, 50 bigs. So back to the action at the Super High Roller final table. Bonomo opened with ace-5, 3-bet from Vogelsang with king-3, called by Bonomo, and it is a king-high flop. Bonomo has got bottom pair.
You're right. Super High Roller will give you a fright. It gets in your head, Lex. Super High Roller.
No. No, please don't. No. That's all I ask.
175.
Pair and an ace and a diamond.
Yeah. It's an interesting lead. Kind of the first thing I think about when I see somebody bet out like a weak king here is like, what is he gonna do on a turn? Is he just gonna kind of like fake shut down? Is he just gonna go all the way for value or something? I don't know.
There aren't many players who look as consistently focused and determined as Christoph Vogelsang.
That's true.
Except the ones that do are all at this table.
He checks. See, this is just interesting because it's kind of it's telling the story. Oh, I'm just taking a quick step, trying to get hands like ace-8, ace-9, ace-7 to fold. You know, fakes it. Obviously, he doesn't want those hands to fold, but he kind of continues that story by checking on a turn.
Last chance for value.
$275.
Well, he's done it. He's gone for small value.
275,000. Any chance Bonomo calls here with just a pair of fives, Lex?
It's tough. It's really tough. The 9 kind of complicates some things. Like, just think about it in terms of what hands can somebody be bluffing with that you beat. It's pretty tough. 10-8. Is they really leading those? 10-9, Jack-9, Jack-10. Those all make hands on the turn. So, I think it's a good fold.
Ace-king for Vogelsang in the small blind.
Having to act before you're done stacking your chips. Such a great feeling, I assume.
1.8.
Thanks.
Geez, guys, quiet down. Chatty bunch.
It's kind of a problematic spot for Christoph, not because he has a troublesome hand, but because if he raises, he knows he's going to get a lot of folds, because Greenwood has to play tight. But if he limps, then Greenwood's not going to really attack it a lot, because he has to play tight.
So a call and a check. And a queen high flop.
Are you not happy just to raise and take it?
I think that you prefer it over knowing that somebody checks. Yeah, so I think raise and take it's always pretty good.
So this is like worst case scenario for him is
Yeah.
Sam
That's
just
like-
checking.
Yeah, somebody just checking and you miss the flop. That's kind of worst case. I imagine he's gonna check call though, because nobody's gonna give him like ace king here, or you know, not often.
And so in this situation, you're just playing that statistic of your opponent is just going to miss the flop 2/3 of the time, and you just have to hope that this is one of those 2/3.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little dicey because you know, if Vogelsang has something that he immediately would fold, there's a big chance he would have just bet with that because he has such a big stack advantage. So it's not a great scenario for Greenwood.
You think he just gives up here a lot?
Yeah, I think that if you look at like how dry the board is, right? So, like every single card that calls the flop, including ace highs even, can pretty safely continue here. A 3 looks better. A 4 is obviously golden. A queen is still really strong, and ace highs have less the fear of something that turned something that beat them. Just check. I like to check.
This event is playing with a shot clock, right?
I was just about to say, he just, even though these guys play similarly and they kind of know what they're going to do, they still think out every single action.
Yeah, this hand taking this long is a little bit silly, but you know, thank God for a shot clock. Or whoever's responsible for that. If Sam bets here, he could still represent a little bit like ace deuce, ace 5, 5-6, 5-7. Those are all hands he would bet on the flop, kind of shut down with, and then could bet the river. Good sizing, close to pot. But he could get... Christoph could be suspicious here, because are you going to really check a queen on the turn, or a 4?
Yeah.
Would you value bet a 3 when it hits a 5? Because those hands that I mentioned earlier are also part of the group that Christoph could play, right? Ace 5, ace deuce.
He
Flat
finds
out.
a call.
Nice one.
Christoph Vogelsang wins another pot, giving him a stack of 5.7 million, more than 140 big blinds. Sam Greenwood dropped below the 40 big blind mark. Of course, we've got two guys with 20 bigs apiece, Schemion and Justin Bonomo. And real distance opening up now between Vogelsang and the rest of this final table. Schemion officially the shortest stack with 20 bigs. Greenwood 38. Ali Reza Fateh is second in chips with 2.5 million, 63 big blinds. Christoph Vogelsang is the chip leader. 5.7 million, 141 big blinds, and still half of this level to play. It's a 60-minute clock in the Super High Roller. We'll play two 60-minute levels back to back. Right now it's 20,000, 40,000 with the 40,000 big blind ante.
So now the small blind is half the big blind.
Yes, as it was for the previous level.
But sometimes it's not.
Correct.
Is there a rhyme or reason to that?
I believe it's all part of a mathematical calculation that's been done about reaching the perfect structure.
Ugh, I'm sorry, you lost me at mathematical. I was so bored already. I'm so sorry I asked.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend to understand
Yeah,
it.
no, please. Just,
I mean, if you want, I'll get Luca Vivaldi to come in here with Excel and explain it to you.
I do like Luca, but have him leave the computer at the door.
Have you seen the visual evidence of Luca's midlife crisis?
No.
What has he done?
He has numerous piercings in his face.
Like places other than his ear?
Yes.
Like in the face part of his face?
Yes.
Really?
Through his nose.
Oh, that's
Twice.
That's all right.
Way to go.
I'll allow it.
He's also had numerous tattoos done. Anywho, Fateh versus Greenwood. And Greenwood has flopped top pair here. Fateh with backdoor spades.
I think that everything Greenwood decides to do here is absolutely fine. You can check. Try to hope to get some action from hands like, you know.
Come on, Sam, open muck and make Lex look like a jerk.
Good point.
No, you're obviously right.
50 fem. I really wouldn't hate a call here. I mean, folding is definitely fine. Greenwood has shown in a lot of hands that he kind of slows down on the turn. Bets flop, checks turn, and then plays a river. And if you know that that happens a lot, King 7 is a pretty good hand here. Backdoor spades, you have an overcard, King High could be good. You know, that's kind of the way you have to look at your hands and possibilities.
No, that's crazy. King 7, calling.
This is really cool. This is really cool. It's not going to work, but it doesn't mean it's a bad move. Greenwood's going to bet this flop, I would say, with almost anything, except for maybe a 4.
To answer Chuki's question, the main event has indeed started. Today is day 1A of the main event. We pick up our coverage on day 2. And yes, Algernon, this Fateh is the same guy that made the final table in 2016. He's facing a re-raise from Greenwood. So the check raise from Ali Reza and now the 3-bet from Sam to 280k.
Good memory, Algernon. You get a flower. Read a book. Seriously, someone out there, read a book for once in your life.
Fateh folds to the 3-bet. Greenwood wins the pot.
Interesting. Interesting hand. We've seen Greenwood make some really loose calls pre-flop against Vogelsang's opens. Same here. It's very tough. Vogelsang has such a big chip lead. He could put so much pressure. Interesting 3-way pot.
Love us some 3-way action at this super high roller final table. And it's ace 10-3. Fateh takes the lead with top pair, Greenwood with second pair. You know what Vogelsang's got there, don't you, Lex? He's got the sailboats.
Oh, stop. Oh. I mean, even hands that don't really get played have nicknames. Oh, it's a Dolly Parton. What?
It's good occasionally to have that flashback to 2004.
That's true, that's true, that's true. It does, yeah. It's kind of these kind of spots that you get in with Queen 10. I hit something, it's decent. It's going to be tough to call 2 bets. Can't really bet myself. Ooh, that kind of locks it up for Fateh, at least in his mind as well. Definitely expect him to start betting now. Great card, obviously, but...
So everyone check the flop. Fateh makes it 155,000. Vogelsang has folded, but Greenwood, as you say, Lex, slightly in no man's land here. Yes, a pair of 10s, but...
Sorry, how much did the bet?
I think he's going to call once and then have a very tough decision on the river. Especially if it comes a non-spade. He might end up calling. Oof, that is going to make it so much tougher for him to fold. Because the flush draw misses, the top card pairs.
Plus, you know this guy's capable of doing anything, so...
True.
Assuming he bets a river, it's hard to actually put him on a hand.
Yeah. Especially with that sizing.
It's the watermelon bet. Well, this occasion, Sam Greenwood, that watermelon does not taste sweet. You have just bitten into an almighty salty sausage. And Ali Reza adds 665k to his stack.
Oh, wow. Bonomo really gets has been getting in some brutal spots. The king 9, and now, you know, I like the fact that he doesn't go all in with the 6s, but just raises.
Oh, hello.
Oh
Schemion's
my.
woken up with queens. And assuming he gets it in here, Lex, for 16 bigs, having made that 3-bet, Ali Reza has to call him.
Yes, for sure. Only has to call 12 big blinds more, so.
Call.
Here we go. So Schemion a big favorite to double up here. It is Domination Nation. And Ola Schemion is the president. Ali Reza Fateh will be looking to spike an ace, or he will like to see a board full of strawberries.
Like this.
Queens against ace-9.
The red triangle of death will be placed against Ola Schemion's hand because he is the player at risk here. If queens don't hold, he will be eliminated in 5th place. To the flop. Jack, Jack 7, 2 clubs. Schemion now an 86% favorite to double up. Ali Reza looking for an ace on the turn or river. Or running jacks to make it super sick. Only an ace can eliminate Ola Schemion. Ali Reza looking for a Barry Greenstein moment.
Barry.
No, queens hold.
830, I think.
Ola Schemion gets the full double up. Pocket 5s for the chip leader.
It's such a safe spot because Greenwood shouldn't really be messing around too much here with Bonomo at 12 big blinds. And then if Justin shoves, then Vogelsang can just call. So it's a really nice situation.
Top pair for Bonomo.
Vogelsang has been taking a lot of check back lines or checking under pairs. Could obviously differ based on Bonomo's stack and position, but I think that every single option Bonomo takes here is fine. Check raising, check calling, check raising all in.
60,000 apiece. And 2 pair now for Bonomo. 95% favorite with 1 card to come. Do you reckon Vogelsang will slow down here, Lex?
Tough to say. It's such a brick that the 4 is that Bonomo might stick around with an 8 for another bet. If you think somebody's going to call with middle pair, it's probably best to not bet. But then again, pressure's also really good.
So check, check, and a jack on the river. Bonomo has 520k behind. There's 395,000 in the middle.
I think you can safely assume that Vogelsang is not going to check a king twice. so I really like betting.
Well, that is a virtual all-in, but you may have seen that Justin Bonomo left one chip behind. So even though we presented him with the red triangle of death graphically, I believe this is a bet of 515,000 because there's a 5K chip still on top of his cards. He didn't say anything, did he?
No, he didn't.
Well, it's a virtual all-in. Let's be honest, he's not going to fold for the initial 5K. And Vogelsang giving this some serious thought.
It's really tough to come up with a hand that you beat, though, at this point. You pretty much have to give somebody ace high or turning a 3 into a bluff. But how many hands, you know, does a short stack defend with a 3 in it? Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a loose call.
That's a call.
Wow.
He said, I'm making a loose call, and sure enough, you are beat, Christoph.
Nice hand.
Thanks.
And Justin Bonomo gets close to a full double up there.
Wow. Wow.
Bonomo now playing 28 big blinds. He is the second shortest stack. Sorry, he is the shortest stack at the table, but he still has close to 30 big blinds. There is no one at immediate risk right now. It's Fateh versus Greenwood going to the flop. 7-4 against 9-6. Couple of monsters, Joe.
Yeah, a couple of monsters indeed. Where do you start?
Well, this is an interesting turn card because Ali Reza has now picked up a straight draw. Greenwood has paired his 6. 3-1 favorite.
You got it, James. That's exactly right. Just double checking your math, and your math checks out.
160.
160 the bet into 275. But I have a pair now. You know, I know we weren't going to give away too much stuff about tomorrow's stream. What do you call it? Twitchy Pete's?
Monte Carlo Mayhem.
Monte Carlo
That's
Mayhem.
not its official title, by the way. The official title is Twitch Special.
Twitch Special. Well, I was involved in a little bit of rehearsal yesterday, partly for today's final table. And I will say that one of the things we did at rehearsal at one point is we were all dealt 3 cards and asked to discard 1. Just going to say that was part of rehearsal yesterday.
Oh, gets there.
Wowee!
It's the straight for Ali Reza, a disguised straight at that.
Very well disguised, like the saint.
However, assuming Ali Reza value bets this river, is Greenwood going to call with just a 6?
That big sigh.
The big sigh, always a little bit of a tell with Ali Reza.
Not just Ali Reza. A lot of people, they do the big sigh.
Here we go again. It is another watermelon bet. Another one of Ali Reza's trademark polarizing big bets on the river. 640K into a pot of 595K. And Greenwood is thinking about it.
Nice work, Antonius, on Twitch. You figured out how to do the watermelon emote. This one's filled with a salty, gigantic sausage.
Greenwood buying more time. But folds. Nice play, Ali.
Yeah. For you.
Yeah.
Ace 10 fives.
Yeah,
Last,
I remember
last
that
two
one.
shots. Yeah, yeah. How you call that? Oh my God.
A disaster.
I mean, I felt like you didn't have it so much. I felt like you were not very comfortable. That's why I called.
I just can't catch a break hard again. Last night, my cousin won an Emmy.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know your cousin worked in TV.
I have a cousin that works for Nickelodeon, and he won an Emmy for, like, he does promos there. It's a promo Emmy. I mean, come on.
I was going to say, it's not really a proper Emmy, is it?
Turns out producer John also worked for Nickelodeon promos.
Did they give you a BAFTA, John? Story checks out.
People in the UK aren't as obsessed with patting themselves on the back as much as we are in America. I used to do this gag about how I wanted to start an awards ceremony, an awards night, where the trophy is actually a giant arm that reaches around so you can pat yourself on the back with it.
So Schemion here completed from the small blind. Vogelsang raises from the big blind. Both players with spades, but Schemion with the better hand, Queen 8, and that looks like a call. So we are going to the flop. And that flop has 2 spades on it.
Hello, spades.
So Schemion with the significantly better flush draw. Vogelsang does have a gut shot straight draw. Schemion, of course, has also paired his 8. There is the potential for excitement. Vogelsang continues. 130,000 into 440,000.
$325.
And Schemion check raises.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
The call from Vogelsang.
I probably shouldn't say this, but offsuit 5?
No. 7 of clubs, pairing the board.
I had the offsuit part right.
So more than $1 million in the middle. Schemion the effective stack with 1.35 million behind. He's now a 93% favorite. He checks the turn, having retaken the betting lead on the flop.
Small bet into a pot of over $1 million.
225,000, yeah, less than a quarter pot.
Probably figures that if he's going to get a fold from Schemion, this amount's going to get it done just as well as a bigger one.
Does not get a fold, though. Schemion calls the bet. And we go to the river with 1.5 million in the middle. And Schemion improves to a full house.
anticlimactic, though. Since Vogelsang's left with just 6 high. Maybe he takes a stab at this, though. Schemion gives him the opportunity to do it.
Schemion checks, hoping that Vogelsang will fall into the trap. Schemion has less than pot behind.
You don't really expect Schemion's going to be raising that flop with an 8 very often involved. These guys are too good. They're just too good.
Vogelsang does not fall for it.
It's weird because Schemion had busted spades, which if that was all he had, he could get a fold.
And Schemion is now second in chips, 2.66 million, and he's closed the gap. Vogelsang's still chip leader, but the margin is not that great. 64 bigs for Christoph, 44 bigs for Ola. Sam Greenwood is the low man at the table with 15 big blinds. Meanwhile, back to the final table where guys are playing for hundreds of thousands of euros. Ola Schemion has opened with aces and Vogelsang's got queens.
And goodbye. Not that Vogelsang can go broke here. Bring out the stretcher. This is gonna hurt a lot.
$840.
The 4-bet from Schemion. $840,000. Some of the on-point decisions we've seen today. Any chance that Vogelsang gets away from this?
I will lose my mind.
Yeah.
But crucially, no 5-bet from Christoph, just a call. This hand going to the flop. 1.83 million in the middle. Schemion has 1.82 behind.
I mean, it's impressive, but what flops do you get away from?
Well, certainly not this one.
I mean, we've seen some pretty stunning poker today. It's been very hard to extract value from Christoph Vogelsang. Schemion had almost exactly pot left behind before he made this bet. This for about a third of his remaining chips. And again, just a call.
Well, a diamond on the turn gives us a sweat, I guess.
Christoph put in 425. Did you bet 430 or 435?
435.
And my guess is that this is more for in case Ola is bluffing to let him keep bluffing than to give himself some room to get away from queens on a 9-high board. No amount of sorcery would surprise me at this point, though. It would still impress me. It just wouldn't surprise me. Oh, I can't even make a half pot bet. Or just.
All in.
Schemion shoves the turn.
Account, please.
Vogelsang wants a count.
Maybe he does it, James.
I don't see how.
Maybe he does it.
Sorry, 1 million, how much? That's 1.1 here.
1,385,000.
Okay.
1.385, right?
1,385.
Come on.
I mean, it smells like what it is.
Right, he's played this hand like a big pocket pair. Does he play jacks or tens this same way? Wow, he did it.
He folds
He did
the
it.
queens.
He folded queens. It seems so obvious when you can see the cards, but
Well,
it's just so easy to call there. I have an overpair. I call. Whoops, I just doubled you up.
Schemion may not have got the full double up there, Joe, but significantly he has taken the chip lead for the first time today, for the first time at this final table. Christoph Vogelsang is not the boss of the super high roller. Instead, it's all about the swag. Here is where we stand after 77 hands. Schemion on top. Vogelsang in second. Alireza Fateh not far behind him. Both those guys have around 40 bigs. Bonomo and Greenwood with around 20 bigs apiece. Will stay at the 30-60 blind level as this super high roller continues as we play down to another champion on the European Poker Tour.